San Diego Comic-Con happened over the weekend for the first time since 2019, and that meant there were some big announcements, particularly from Marvel, regarding their future plan for the MCU. So I'm going to talk through my thoughts on their announcements, rank my excitement for Phase 5, and talk about some of the projects that look like they were missing from the plan. Hello and welcome to Cinemaze, and I'm going to start by talking through my opinions on what Marvel revealed. We learned that the new MCU saga is the Multiverse saga, and it's going to stretch from Phase 4 all the way to Phase 6. I think this is what most of us expected the plan to be after some of the recent Multiverse projects. We saw the full plan for Phase 4, and based on the roadmap they showed us, Phase 4 only has 2 projects left, with She-Hulk and Wakanda Forever. I don't think any of us expected Phase 4 to be ending so soon. It feels like it only just started, but I understand that with more content, we're going to have shorter phases. And they showed us trailers for both of these projects. I thought the She-Hulk trailer was really good. The CGI looked much better, the jokes landed, and I'm pleased to see the fourth wall breaking. She broke the fourth wall before Deadpool in the comics. And while normally I'm critical of MCU comedy, She-Hulk is one of the characters it makes sense for. And yes, we get Daredevil, which is awesome, and it looks like he's got a cool new comic accurate yellow and red suit. And wow, that Black Panther trailer was incredible. I did a short video on it, but I thought it was one of Marvel's best trailers. It looked beautiful, emotional and epic. Plus, we get to see Namor and Ironheart. I was apprehensive of this film due to the circumstances they had, but it seems like they're going to do a really good job with it, which I'm pleased to see. While I'm really happy we've now seen the rough plan for the future of the MCU, and it does help to solve some concerns about their future, I don't think looking at the full plan of Phase 4, it's been the most focused phase. Phases are no longer capped off by Avengers films, so it doesn't really feel like there's been a narrative across the phase, like we used to have. Phase 4 has mostly been about the introduction to the multiverse and meeting lots of new characters, setting them up for Secret Wars, but there hasn't really been an overarching narrative except for a few multiverse films. We also saw the plan for Phase 5, which I'm going to talk more about in a bit when I rank my excitement for those projects, but it starts with Quantamania in 2023 and it ends with the Thunderbolts in 2024. Again, it's a really short phase which seems to continue with a few multiverse movies, but mainly it's about setting up new characters. And then finally, we learn that Phase 6 begins in mid-2024 with the highly anticipated Fantastic Four and ending in 2025 with 2 Avengers movies. And that's pretty crazy. 2 Avengers movies in the same year. That's so unexpected. Even with Infinity War and Endgame, we had a year in between those movies. And the Russos have talked about how tough that was. 2 in the same year, plus 2 projects in between the releases. Seems pretty insane. But it is exciting and I really hope they can pull it off. And those Avengers movies will end Phase 6 and the Multiverse saga with the Avengers facing off against Kang the Conqueror. I assume the Kang Dynasty will be a bit smaller scale, bringing the Avengers together against Kang, and then Secret Wars will be the big multiverse event with cameos in every character possible. But really, we know nothing yet. For most of Phase 5 and 6, we don't know anything except dates and titles, and it seems like the more specific information like cast, plots, and directors will be revealed at D23 in September. Comic-Con is normally more for the fans, but D23 is super important to Disney and their investors, so normally the real meaty information is usually revealed there. However, it was recently revealed weirdly right after Comic-Con that Shang-Chi director Dustin Daniel Cretton will be directing the Kang Dynasty. This implies that Secret Wars may have a different director and these projects might be more separate than we expect. Cretton is a decent pick. The biggest problem with Shang-Chi were the Marvel references and the big CGI finale, but MCU references and CGI finales make a lot more sense in an Avengers movie than in a martial arts film. So I'm interested to see what he can do. I also think this increases the chance of the Russo brothers returning for Secret Wars. They've talked about not liking back-to-back movies after Endgame, so if Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars were the same director, then they wouldn't want to do it. But now that the directors might be different, they might be more interested in doing Secret Wars, which they have expressed interest in the past. Overall, I like the look of the plan, where it's leading towards, but each phase feels really short and not much focus within the phases itself. The focus seems to be more across the phases, with a few multiverse movies in each one. It also feels like there's a lot of subplots going on across the phases. We've got some space stories, some street level stories, and some mystical supernatural stories. I assume all of these sub-stories will connect in some way. Maybe this will lead to sub-teams who fight against different variants of Kang at each level in Kang Dynasty, and then they will all unite together to fight the main Kang in Secret Wars. Maybe? That's how I'd do it. It seems super ambitious, but it is great to see they have a plan, and I really hope they can pull it off and learn some of the lessons from Phase 4. I also thought it was interesting how some projects looked like they were missing from the timelines, and so I'm going to talk through those now. They didn't seem to include animated projects in the timelines anymore. Back when Phase 4 was announced, we saw What If in the timeline graphic, but the new Phase 4 graphic didn't include What If. We also know that there is a What If Season 2, Marvel Zombies project, and a Spider-Man freshman year, and all of these were talked about at Comic-Con, but they weren't included on the timelines. These all probably fall into Phase 5. Freshman year had some really interesting reveals, and I plan to talk about those in another video. I Am Groot is a Marvel animation project that comes out this August, and that also wasn't on the timeline, but technically it's in Phase 4, and we actually got a trailer for that dropped on YouTube. We also know there is a live-action Werewolf by Night Halloween special coming out this year, and a Guardians holiday special. Both of these weren't on the plan, but they most likely count towards Phase 4 as they all come out this year. Many fans were quick to notice that the War Machine series Armor Wars was missing. We originally thought this was going to be coming out somewhere in late Phase 4, but it wasn't on any of the timelines, so most likely it's going to be somewhere in Phase 6. The creators have confirmed it is still going ahead, so maybe it's just going to be later than we expected. It might tie into Ironheart or Secret Invasion, and that's going to mean it takes a bit longer. We also know that a Wonder Man and a Wakanda series have been greenlit, and these were nowhere to be seen in the timelines. Now, in terms of some of the films that are missing, we know that Deadpool 3 is confirmed to be in the MCU, and it is in development. That wasn't on the timeline either, so that will most likely be somewhere in Phase 6, and that might lead into X-Men or some mutant films. We know the X-Men are coming, but they were not mentioned anywhere at Comic-Con. The groundwork for mutants are slowly being set up, but I think they'll probably come in around Phase 6 and setting up for beyond Phase 6. Shang-Chi 2 is confirmed, but that wasn't anywhere on the timelines. Doctor Strange 3 and Black Panther 3 haven't been confirmed, but they seem extremely likely as most characters get a third in their trilogy in the MCU. So this could be in Phase 6 or even later. Finally, we have no idea where Spider-Man fits into any of this, and that's understandable due to Sony owning the rights to the character, and we don't know how their deal will continue going forwards. But after the success of No Way Home, a new Tom Holland trilogy in the MCU feels inevitable. Also, with the Venom symbiote in the MCU and him getting this in Secret Wars in the comics, the timeline seems pretty good. Sony normally like to pump out a Spidey film every 2 years, which puts the next film around 2024, so right at the end of Phase 5 or the start of Phase 6 seems most likely for Spidey. Now, I'm going to end this video by ranking the Phase 5 projects and my excitement towards them. Number 12, Ironheart. This will be a Disney Plus series featuring Riri Williams, who is a young girl who builds her own Iron Man suit. As far as some of the new iterations of Marvel characters go, like Miles Morales, Kate Bishop or Ms. Marvel, I always found Ironheart to be the weakest of these, so I don't care enough about the character to place it any higher on this list. She does get introduced in Wakanda Forever, so if she's awesome in that, I think I'll get way more excited for this series. Number 11, Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Previously known as Agatha House of Harkness, now this is going to feature Agatha Harkness returning after WandaVision. I thought she was a really fun character, but I never felt like she'd be someone to lead a series. If they tie Wanda into this and maybe some multiverse stuff, I think I'll care a bit more, but right now I don't know if there's enough about this character to tell a full series, and it feels like they're making content like this just to fill up some spaces on Disney Plus, and it's not actually a series that needs to be told. Number 10, Echo. I think the biggest problem with this is that Echo is the least interesting thing we know about her own show, because I'm only interested in this because Kingpin and Daredevil are returning. While Echo was an interesting enough character in Hawkeye, it's really the other characters I'm invested in. And so it's a bit of a weird situation where the lead character of a show is one of the least interesting parts. Number 9, Secret Invasion. This could potentially be really cool, seeing how Nick Fury deals with the Skrulls infiltrating Earth. They showed a clip of this to the audiences in Hall H at Comic-Con, and apparently it was like an intense political thriller, which seems like the exact right way to go with this series. But I wasn't the biggest fan of Captain Marvel or the Skrulls in that, so I haven't been won over by this premise yet. Number 8, The Marvels. The team up between Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel and Monica Rambeau. And as I just said, I wasn't the biggest fan of Captain Marvel, but I did really enjoy Ms. Marvel and Monica Rambeau in WandaVision, and so that's boosted my excitement for this project quite a bit. Number 7, Blade. It's got a great main actor here and everyone loves Blade, and I like the supernatural side of Marvel, but really I need to know more about how Marvel are going to deal with Blade in the MCU before I can get more excited for this. Number 6, Captain America New World Order. I loved the previous Captain America films and I like Sam as the new Cap, but I didn't think Falcon and the Winter Soldier was very good. That said, I do think Falcon and the Winter Soldier would have made a better film than a series, so I hope they can capture some of the magic of the past Captain America films while bringing some of Sam Wilson's own charm to make this work. Number 5, Loki Season 2. This seems important as it will tie directly into the multiverse saga. I really enjoyed the first season of Loki and I want to see how that cliffhanger gets resolved. Number 4, the Thunderbolts. This is a really interesting concept, and I think they've set up some interesting characters for this to work. Ending phase 5 with this project makes me think it must be quite important going forwards, and that also boosts my excitement for this series. Number 3, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantamania. Now this kicks off phase 5 and we will finally meet Kang the Conqueror. For people in Comic-Con, they saw a clip of this and they said it looked serious with high stakes and that it looked awesome. Not only is Kang in this, but so is MODOK, and it seems like this will be important for the multiverse saga, which gets me really excited. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. While I'm not the biggest fan of Guardians 2, I loved the first movie so much, and I think James Gunn can tie this trilogy up nicely. We've heard from the cast and the clips they showed at Comic-Con that this is going to be super emotional, and it's that emotion and heart that made the first Guardians so special. We heard that Quill is searching for Gamora, we were going to meet Adam Warlock, and we're going to dive into Rocket's past. The High Evolutionary is the main villain here, who gave a creepy appearance at Comic-Con, and it seems like he's going to be the man behind Rocket's past. I love the Guardians, and it looks like we have an epic finale film here. Number 1, Daredevil Born Again. I love the original Netflix Daredevil series so much, and I'm so glad Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are returning to the MCU. I love the prominence of Daredevil across these phases, starting in No Way Home, and then She-Hulk, and then Echo, and then Spider-Man freshman year, and then culminating in his own series. I hope they manage to get all of the original cast back and can capture some of the magic of that original series. But what really gets me excited is this is an 18 episode run. That's far longer than any of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, and longer than the original Daredevil series itself. So it's great that they're taking this show seriously, and that's what puts it at number 1. So that's my breakdown of the Comic-Con announcements and my thoughts and excitement for the upcoming series. Let me know in the comments what you're most excited for, and let me know maybe what you also hope to see in phase 6. If you enjoyed this, please like the video, it really helps my channel out, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe because new videos like this come out every Friday. But for now, thanks for watching Cinemaze.